Queen Vara of the Talarian Empire stood on the observation deck of her palace, watching the twin moons rise over her capital city. The crystalline towers gleamed in the moonlight, a testament to 3,000 years of unbroken rule by her bloodline. She was the most powerful being in 4-star systems, commander of fleets that made warlords tremble. And yet tonight, her thoughts were consumed by the human who had entered her life 6 months ago. His name was Jack Thompson, an unremarkable name for what she had assumed was an unremarkable species. He had arrived on a diplomatic vessel, part of humanity's first contact delegation. While the other ambassadors postured and negotiated, Jack had simply smiled at her with those strange, warm eyes. He spoke softly, listened carefully, and somehow made her laugh in ways she had not laughed in decades. Within 3 months, she had done the unthinkable and proposed a political marriage. Her advisors had been horrified. Humans were a young species, barely capable of faster-than-light travel, with no significant military power. But Vara had not become queen by caring what others thought. Jack had accepted her proposal with that same gentle smile. The wedding had been a grand affair, though whispers followed them everywhere. The mighty Talarian queen had married a human, a species most of the galaxy considered primitive. Vara ignored the gossip. She knew her own mind, and she knew what she felt when Jack held her hand. Now, as she stood in the darkness, she heard his footsteps behind her. He moved with an unusual quietness for someone of his size, another quirk she had noticed. Jack wrapped his arms around her waist, resting his chin on her shoulder. "You are troubled," he said. Vara sighed. The Krell Dominion has issued another ultimatum. They demand we surrender the border colonies or face invasion. My fleet commanders tell me we are outmatched. The Krell have been building their armada for 20 years. Jack was quiet for a moment. "What will you do?" "Fight," Vara said firmly. "I will not surrender my people to those monsters." The Krell enslave entire populations. Better to die fighting than to submit. "You will not die," Jack said softly. "And neither will your people?" Vara turned to look at him, surprised by the certainty in his voice. "Jack, I love you, but you do not understand war on this scale. The Krell have 600 capital ships. We have 300. The mathematics are simple and brutal." Jack smiled that gentle smile again. "Then perhaps it is time I told you the truth about humans." Before Vara could respond, alarms began blaring throughout the palace. Her communicator erupted with panicked voices. The Krell fleet had arrived early, dropping out of hyperspace at the edge of her system. 600 ships, just as intelligence had reported, moving in attack formation toward her homeworld. Vara raced to the command center with Jack following close behind. Her military advisors were already there, faces grim as they watched the tactical display. The Krell armada was 12 hours away at current speed. Her own fleet was scrambling to form a defensive perimeter, but everyone in the room knew it would not be enough. "Your Majesty," her chief admiral said, "we should evacuate you to a secure location." "No," Vara said flatly. "I will stand with my people." "That is admirable," a voice crackled over the communication system. It was the Krell warlord, his reptilian face filling the main screen. "But futile. Surrender now, and I will be merciful. Resist, and I will turn your precious worlds to ash." Vara stepped forward, her voice cold as ice. "The Talarian Empire does not surrender to tyrants. Come and face us if you dare." The warlord laughed, a harsh, grating sound. "So be it. In 12 hours, your empire ends." The transmission cut off. Vara's hands gripped the edge of the command console. She knew she had just condemned her people to a battle they could not win, but she could not submit to slavery. Behind her, she heard Jack speaking quietly into his own communicator, using words she did not understand. "What are you doing?" she asked. Jack looked up at her, calling in a favor. Vara, I need you to trust me. Please order your fleet to hold position, and do not engage the Krell until I say otherwise. Jack, this is not the time for games. I know. Trust me. Something in his eyes made her pause. She had learned to read human expressions over the past months, and what she saw now was not fear or uncertainty. It was absolute confidence. Against all logic, she nodded. Admiral, hold our position. Defensive formation only. The Admiral looked at her as if she had gone mad, but obeyed. The hours crept by with agonizing slowness. The Krell fleet advanced steadily, their weapons charging, their formation perfect. At the 4-hour mark, Vara could stand it no longer. Jack, what are we waiting for? For them, he said simply. On the tactical display, something impossible happened. New contacts began appearing on the long-range sensors. Dozens of them. Hundreds of them. Ships dropping out of hyperspace in perfect formation, surrounding the Krell fleet on all sides. Vara stared at the display in shock. These were not Talarian ships. They were human vessels, but not like any she had seen before. These were warships. The smallest of them dwarfed her largest battle cruisers. They moved with a predatory grace, their hulls bristling with weapons that made her most advanced technology look primitive. More ships kept, arriving until the tactical display showed over 2,000 human vessels forming a vast sphere around the Krell armada. What is this? Vara whispered. Jack touched his communicator. This is Admiral Thompson of the Terran Defense Fleet. Krell forces, you are surrounded and outgunned. Power down your weapons and prepare to be escorted out of this system. Admiral Thompson. Vara turned to stare at her husband. The Krell warlord's face reappeared on the screen, his earlier confidence replaced by confusion. This is impossible. Human forces do not number more than a few dozen ships. Where did this fleet come from? Jack's expression remained calm, but his voice carried an edge of steel. That is what we allowed the galaxy to see. Did you really think a species capable of reaching the stars would show all its cards to potential enemies? We have been preparing for threats like you for 2 centuries. This is 1% of Earth's true military capacity. The command center had gone silent. Every eye was on Jack, and Vara realized with dawning understanding that she had never truly known her husband at all. The Krell warlord blustered and threatened, but his fleet was already beginning to break formation. Faced with overwhelming force, even his arrogance could not overcome basic survival instinct. One by one, the Krell ships powered down their weapons. The human fleet maintained their positions, weapons locked but not firing. You will withdraw from this system immediately, Jack said. You will abandon any plans to invade Talarian space. And you will send word to every species in this region that humanity has extended its protection to the Talarian Empire. Any attack on them will be considered an attack on Earth itself. The warlord's face twisted with rage, but he nodded. Within an hour, the Krell fleet was retreating at maximum speed, thoroughly humiliated. The human ships remained in position until the last enemy vessel had jumped to hyperspace. Then they too began to depart. Jack exchanged brief words with several commanders, then closed the communication channel. Vara found herself unable to speak. Her advisors were equally stunned. Finally, the Admiral broke the silence. Your Majesty, did you know about this? Vara shook her head slowly. No, I knew nothing. She turned to Jack, her mind reeling with questions. He met her gaze steadily, and she saw something she had not seen before. This was not the gentle diplomat who had courted her. This was a warrior, a protector, someone who had carried the weight of incredible responsibility while maintaining the appearance of harmlessness. Walk with me, she said quietly. They left the command center and returned to the observation deck. The twin moons were setting now, and the first light of dawn was touching the horizon. Vara stood in silence for a long moment, processing everything she had learned. "Why did you hide this from me?" she finally asked. Jack moved to stand beside her. "Because it was necessary. Humanity learned long ago that if you want to understand your neighbors, you must first appear non-threatening. We have been watching the galaxy for a very long time, assessing who could be trusted and who posed a danger. When I came here, I came to learn about your people, to see if you were honorable or if you would prey on what you perceived as weakness. And what did you conclude? That you are everything we hope to find. Strong but not cruel. Powerful but not tyrannical. Someone worth protecting." Jack took her hand. "I did not marry you out of duty, Vara. I married you because I fell in love with you. But yes, I also married you to forge an alliance between our peoples." Vara laughed, a sound that held both wonder and exasperation. "I thought I was marrying someone I could protect. Instead, I married someone who has been protecting me all along." "We protect each other," Jack said. "That is what partners do." Vara pulled him close, resting her forehead against his. "I have been a fool. I saw a gentle soul and assumed that meant you were weak. I have learned today that humans are perhaps the most dangerous species in the galaxy, precisely because no one sees you coming." "We prefer it that way," Jack admitted, "though I suspect that secret is now out." "Indeed." Vara looked up at the stars, seeing them now with new understanding. Somewhere out there, humanity had built an empire that could.